Okay, John, I'm going to show you that this is way too easy to use the hammer like that. When I set screw them in with epoxy, I've got to really slam the heck out of it with a hammer in order to recycle the axle. So these have all come out way too easily. I'm glad we caught this. Okay, John, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a measurement here. You've got all of your gears at 0.290 from the edge of the gear. So there's 0.290. Then we're going to take a marker and going to mark the outside and mark the inside. And there we'll have our gear area that we need to scuff up. Okay, John, here we go. Here's our Dremel. I'm going to just make probably 4 very shallow flat spots. So there's actually 5. So yeah, maybe you can see in the light. Anyway, yeah, you can sort of see that flat spot in the light. There's another flat spot. Very, very shallow flat spots. And then the gear will go on there. And we'll get to the epoxy next. First thing I'm going to do here, John, is take the bobby pin with a dab of glue on it and put it inside the hub from both sides, like so. And then, well, we'll do that in a minute. So that's the first step. Okay, so actually the next thing I'm going to do is take one of these screws and just give it a little bit of a dab of epoxy and get it started in the set screw hole like that. Okay, next step. We're just going to put some of the epoxy on the gear area like this and heat it up with the lighter. Okay, while that epoxy is hot, we then put the gear on with the screw in it, and I want to line up the set screw. I'm kind of moving it back and forth here to make sure I got a lot of glue in there, because the glue that's on the axle is nice and liquidy. And so I've got it lined up with the set screw, and I'm going to turn this down until it locks. Next, we've got the excess glue, and just remove that with a paper towel. And you'll probably have to remove it after this is dried. Like so. That looks good. And there we have it. So what I do with this now is I take these and I get my toaster oven going at 190 degrees, and I just put them in for an hour at 190. Then I let them cure overnight. Okay, so here's your 1/32 Eurosport gears, 44 tooth, 80 pitch, and I'm going to put a good amount of epoxy inside these hubs, and these have already been turned down. Well, it looks like on this one the screw actually came out, so it's got a hole there. So there's the gear is ready. Okay, time to do the axle. Take the Q-tip and put a fairly good amount of epoxy in the gear area where it has the flat spots, and then we're going to heat that up until the epoxy kind of becomes a little more clear and very liquidy. And then we're going to put your gear that has epoxy on the inside of it already onto the hub area. Move it back and forth. I can feel there's a lot of glue in there. And then I'm going to clean this off and make sure that we've got this set correctly at 0.290. I'm going to have 2 hands to do this, but you get the idea. There you go. We're going to cure it and let it dry.